Sambhal fortified ahead of Holi. Mosques covered, security beefed up. Holy war erupts in West Bengal. Holi high alert across India.
Good evening, you're watching 5 Live. I'm Gaurav Sawant and we begin this broadcast with a good news story. After a break of close to 50 long years, after 50 years, prayers and holy celebrations at a temple in Sambhal that was lost for 50 long years. Why? We'll tell you that and much more over the course of the next half hour. And at 5:30, a special interview with actor John Abraham on a diplomat who literally snatched life from the jaws of death in Pakistan and rescued an Indian national. There's a new movie coming called The Diplomat. I'll tell you much more about it. And let me take you straight to Sambhal in Uttar Pradesh, where after close to 50 years break, a hiatus of 46 long years, the Kartikeya Mahadev temple in Khaggusarai, Sambhal, witnessed vibrant holy celebrations on the 13th of March. The temple had remained closed since 1978. And why? Because there were horrific communal riots and Hindus were forced to leave. They were compelled to leave. The temple was shut down. It reopened now in December 2024. And for the first time, after a gap of close to 50 years, there was massive, watch those images, significant holy celebrations. And what a moment for locals in the area who celebrated Holi. It's a big statement of intent that has also been made. Remember what Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath told us at the India Today conclave. He said, we will take what is ours. The government is very clear, and the significance of Sambhal, a very holy Hindu shrine, a tirth of the Kalki Avatar temple of Lord Vishnu. We get you more in this report.
Vibrant Holi celebrations in Sambhal. Festival of colours at the Kartikeya Mahadev temple after a 46-year break. Members from various social and Hindu organizations actively participated in the celebrations. The participants lauded the efforts of the police and local authorities in ensuring a secure environment. In a bid to ensure peace during the overlapping festivities of Holi and the Friday prayers in the month of Ramzan, the UP government took many measures. 10 mosques, including the Shahi Jama Masjid, were covered with tarpaulin to prevent any disturbances.
Sambhal administration has tightened the security on the ground. Currently, I am here behind the Shahi Jama Masjid, which became the epicenter of violence in the month of November last year. And as you can see in the visuals, you can see Uttar Pradesh police personals, RRF as well as PAC police persons are deployed on the ground to maintain peace.
The police also conducted a flag march in Sambhal, where clashes occurred in November last year over a court-ordered survey of the Jama Masjid.
As you can see behind me in the visuals, currently a flag march is taking place and ASP as well as circle officers are taking this flag march, and you can see in the visual the Vajravahan is also patrolling on the streets of Sambhal, and this is like a warning for the elements, those who will try to break law and order in the city.
Meanwhile, the ASI team carried out measurements and assessments ahead of the planned whitewashing and renovation work of Shahi Jama Masjid.
ये ASI की टीम आई है आज मेरठ से और वो यहाँ पर ये नाप तोल कर रही है देख रही है कहाँ पर क्या कैसे पुताई होनी है, कैसे करानी है, सारा एस्टिमेट बना रही है, नपाई तुलाई करा रही है और हम पूरा सहयोग कर रहे हैं जैसे कि आप लोग देख रहे हैं। और कहीं कोई परेशानी नहीं है, पुताई बहुत जल्दी शुरू हो जाएगी।
The successful and peaceful celebration of Holi at the Kartikeya Mahadev temple after nearly half a century highlights the local community's commitment to harmony. With Anmol Bali in Sambhal, Bureau Report, India Today.
And I quickly want to take you to Sambhal, where my colleague Anmol Bali now joins us with more. Anmol, we saw these images and we saw the singing of Aaj Baraj Mein Holi Hai. It just sounded marvelous. What's the situation right now? Is it calm? Is it peaceful? Why the deployment of so many police personnel?
Gaurav, currently I am here at the Shankar Chowk and I'll show you two visuals of Sambhal. On one of my side, I'll show you hustling, bustling market because only one day is left for the mega Holi celebration. But on the other hand, the administration has also tightened the security measures in the city. And I'll also show you the other visuals where they have deployed heavy number of police forces on the ground. This is Shankar Chowk, one of the main area of a Sambhal, and today it was also seen that today police held a flag march on the streets of Sambhal on the main route where we will see tomorrow the Holi procession will pass. They have deployed RRF as well as PSC, Uttar Pradesh police on the ground to maintain peace, law and order, and they have also requested peace and harmony. They are talking with the peace committees. Even they have covered the walls of the mosque, not only Shahi Jama Masjid, but 9 other mosques which will come on the way of the main Holi procession. All those walls are now covered. So you can see in the visuals, two visuals, one of hustling, bustling market and other of the security forces being deployed to control the situation if something arises. I'll also show you they're keeping eye via CCTV cameras, they're keeping eye via drones, they're also monitoring the social media. They have detained several people, those who were trying to break law and order in the city. And while talking to India Today, ACP explained that soon they will initiate action against those elements, those who will break law and order or will try to hamper.
But
peace
Anmol,
and
I want
harmony
to understand from you, and you know, what are your police sources telling you? Is it the first time that masjid, and you're telling us that there are about 10-12 mosques in the area where tarpaulin is being put on the wall outside? Is this being done for the first time, or is it almost a standard operating procedure year after year?
Gaurav, today it was seen that a team of ASI came to Shahi Jama Masjid, and while talking to a Zafar of Shahi Jama Masjid, Zafar Ali, who is the president of Jama Masjid committee, explained us that this is not the first time that they have covered the walls of masjid with plastic sheets. Last year also they did like this, and they have been doing this for last many years to protect walls of the masjid. But yeah, when we talked with various of the locals, like some people were preparing for Holika Dahan just few steps away from the Shahi Jama Masjid. When we asked them, is this the first time that you are burning or you are going to burn the Holika in this tight security, amid tight security, they said, yes, this is very first time they are witnessing security like this. So locals have a different opinion to the tight situation of security in the city.
Okay, stay with me. We will continue this conversation, because why is it, and this is a question that all must ponder, everyone must ponder, why is it that you need to conduct a flag march? Holi is the festival of colors. Why is it that you'd need to put the police in place to ensure that the situation does not take a turn for the worse? You need to ensure that mosque walls are being covered with tarpaulin. Why? We'll discuss that in greater detail. But it's not just in Sambhal, and it's not just in parts of Uttar Pradesh or Bengal or Bihar where a lot of security arrangements are being made. I also want to take you to the national capital in Delhi, where ahead of Holi celebrations, the Delhi police carried out a flag march in the national capital in the walled city area. Security has been stepped up in 100 plus locations that have been identified as sensitive, and no, not for the first time. Senior police officers have conducted meetings with the local peace committees to ensure that communal harmony is maintained. that no misinformation. Do keep in mind that there are hostile elements within and beyond our borders who want to see communal disharmony in our country, and they will spread rumors in this interconnected world where on social media platforms a lot of misinformation and disinformation and deliberate disinformation is spread. They may do something that could lead to disharmony, and that is why not only are the police in place, they're also installing CCTV cameras, drones will be flying for surveillance, and there are officers in plain clothes, police personnel in plain clothes amidst the crowds to ensure, in case there are unruly elements, that are dealt with before the situation goes out of hand.
त्योहार अच्छे से बीत जाए, इसके लिए दिल्ली पुलिस ने कई इलाकों में सुरक्षा बढ़ा दी है। खास तौर से जहां पर मिक्स पॉपुलेशन है, वहां पर पुलिस ने ज्यादा सुरक्षा बढ़ा दी है। पुलिस, आप देखिए, इस वक्त हम हौज काजी इलाके में मौजूद है, जहां पर तमाम अधिकारी यहां पर आप देखिए मौजूद है, पैदल मार्च कर रहे हैं। आगे तमाम बाइक पर आपको पुलिस के जवान नजर आएंगे। इसके अलावा अमन कमेटी के साथ भी लगातार पुलिस ने बैठक की है। किसी तरीके का विवाद ना हो, इसके लिए अमन कमेटी के साथ बैठक की गई, और ये सुरक्षा इसलिए की जा रही है ताकि कोई शरारती तत्व बीच में आकर माहौल खराब करने की कोशिश ना करे। पुलिस का कहना है कि पूरी दिल्ली में इसी तरीके से होली के दिन सुरक्षा बढ़ाई गई है।
सुरक्षा के हमने काफ़ी इंतजाम यहाँ पे किए हुए हैं, और आपकी बात सत्य है, दोनों ही सेंसिटिव हैं, और दोनों के साथ ही हमने मीटिंग भी की हुई है, और पूरे सौहार्दपूर्ण तरीके से रमजान और होली दोनों को बहुत अच्छे से सेलिब्रेट किया जाएगा। और मुझे पूर्ण उम्मीद है कि हमारे अरेंजमेंट के हिसाब से भी, पेट्रोलिंग, पिकेटिंग, पोजिशनिंग, उन्हीं के हिसाब से भी जो हमने एनालिसिस किया है सेंसिटिविटी के हिसाब से, हम खुद और सीनियर ऑफिसर्स भी पूरे एरिया में प्रेजेंट रहेंगे। हम इसको बहुत ही सौहार्दपूर्ण तरीके से इसको संपन्न करेंगे।
I quickly want to cut across to India Today's Piyush Mishra for more on this. Piyush, a flag march in the walled city area, 100 areas being identified as sensitive. Is there any specific input on the basis of which the police are doing this?
Well, Gaurav, police wants to ensure that this pious festival of Holi is celebrated and a successful celebration takes place. No incident takes place, and that is why we are seeing as to how a large number of deployments have been done by Delhi police. And they also held a series of meetings. They have met with various peace committees to ensure that no untoward incident takes place, no communal color is given to this festival. And not only flag march, but also different other activities are also being carried out by Delhi police in the areas where we have mixed population, also especially in the areas where the riots took place, like Puri and other parts of Northeast Delhi. At the same time, in Old Delhi, in Hosrani area and other parts of Delhi where there is mixed population, the deployment has been increased, and tomorrow we will see a large number of police personnel on their toes. In fact, senior police officials will be there in various big sensitive areas in national capital.
You know, because of that riots that were orchestrated in the national capital in the name of Citizenship Amendment Act, we do know, Piyush, a spark neglected burns the house. In Uttar Pradesh, I'm told around Sambhal, more than 1,000 people have been taken into preventive detention to ensure troublemakers are not on the streets. Is something like this also happening in Delhi?
Well, as of now, the police has not detained anyone, but yes, instructions have been issued that no untoward incident should take place, and all the troublemakers have also been given warning. At the same time, police is holding series of meetings to ensure that this festival is celebrated peacefully and people, rejoice on this day, and that is why we are seeing a large number of deployments are taking place. As of now, no detentions have been done; only warnings have been issued to nuisance elements.
To potential troublemakers and registered bad characters in areas. Keep tracking that story, Piyush. I will come back to you for more. I now want to shift focus to West Bengal, where an unholy war of sorts, as is being reported, has erupted. The Bengal government is reported to have imposed a ban on celebrating Holi at UNESCO heritage site at Shantiniketan Hut. Now the BJP has hit out at the Trinamool Congress government, saying it's an appeasement politics example. The Mamata Banerjee government hit back. The Mamata Banerjee government has said the ban was to preserve the forest and the greenery at Shantiniketan. A move that led the opposition in Bengal very clearly to see red. The BJP accused the Mamata Banerjee government of minority appeasement. They're saying they're only doing this to placate Muslim vote bank, claiming they will not stop Holi celebrations or permit Mamata Banerjee to turn Bengal, as the BJP puts it, into the land of Islam. The TMC has reversed the ban since, claiming there was no ban on Holi celebrations, but the government was only urging people to celebrate a green Holi at a UNESCO site.
फॉरेस्ट डिपार्टमेंट से ऐसा कोई नोटिस किए नहीं है। हम लोग बस यही चाहते हैं कि हर जगह का जो मतलब कितना पेड़ वगैरह है जो सब वो सब ठीक ठाक रहे, इसलिए हम लोग रिक्वेस्ट किए हैं। ऐसा नहीं कि हम लोग पाबंदी लगा दें।
लेकिन बैनर में तो क्लियरली कहा गया है कि ना गाड़ी की पार्किंग होगी और ना ही जो हाँ कोई रंग नहीं खेला जाएगा वहाँ पर, क्लियरली मेंशन है।
हम लोग रिक्वेस्ट किए हैं, फिर और एक बार बोल रही हूँ कि हम लोग रिक्वेस्ट किए हैं कि उधर का जो परिवेश है उसको ठीक ठाक रखने के लिए रिक्वेस्ट किया गया है। हम लोग कोई पाबंदी नहीं रखे हैं। जिसको खेलने का मन है, जगह खेलने का मन है, वो खेल सकता है।
सब होता था जंगल के अंदर भी, सोनाजुली के जंगल के अंदर भी। ये दोनों दफ्तर की डिसीजन है। सारी जगह में देखा जाता है कि जंगल में बड़ी अत्याचार हो रहा है, गाछ कट रहा है, गाछ मर जाता है, इसीलिए बंद किया गया। इसके लेकिन एक ढूंढता है कहाँ से तो कम्युनल सेंटिमेंट उठाया है।
उनका कहना है रमजान का महीना इसलिए ऐसा किया गया हुआ।
उधर में कोई लोग नहीं जाता है, जंगल के अंदर में कोई लोग रमजान का महीना में नहीं जाता है, तो उसके बाद नहीं उठता है। फिर भी वो ये उठा था एक ही चीज है जो पहले बोला है, जो एमएलए को मुस्लिम एमएलए को छोड़ भेज दिया जाएगा, उसी बात है। ये खाली पोलराइजेशन के लिए, वोट पोलराइजेशन के, उससे दूसरा कोई उन्नति के लिए कोई बात नहीं होता है। जीतने के लिए आज इसके एक ही कार्ड है, कोई खेल।
सरकार अपीजमेंट पॉलिटिक्स कर रही है, और ऐसा नहीं कि पहली बार कर रही है, बहुत पहले से ही इस अपीजमेंट पॉलिटिक्स ममता बनर्जी कर रही है। क्योंकि ममता बनर्जी को पता है कि जो मुस्लिम फेनेटिक वोट बैंक है उनका, जमात के साथ जिनका सरोकार है, मैं हिंदुओं को, पश्चिम बंगाल के हिंदुओं को मैं आह्वान करूंगा कि आप होली मनाइए, पुरजोर से मनाइए। जितने भी पुलिस की बाधा होगी हम सब एक साथ मिलकर लड़ेंगे। तो ये बंगाल की भूमि है, श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभु की भूमि है। इस भूमि को ममता बनर्जी जैसे लोग जितना भी कोशिश कर ले, इसको इस्लाम की भूमि नहीं बना सकते।
इसलिए আমডাঙ্গা उत्तर 24 परगना का आईसी खुला बता दिया, ये रंग फंग नहीं देना चाहिए, होली फोली नहीं मनाना चाहिए, कुछ करेगा तो अरेस्ट हो जाएगा। एडिशनल एसपी बीरभूम उन्होंने बताया 10 बजे के अंदर शांति निकेतन का बसंत उत्सव इस बार खत्म कर दीजिए। इस बार फ्राइडे है, स्पेशल डे है, इसलिए इस बार आप लोग 10 बजे के बाद कुछ नहीं करना चाहिए। ये पहले बार बंगाल में हो रहा है।
देखिए, कोई भी हिंदू त्योहार हो, चाहे वो होली हो, दिवाली हो, सरस्वती पूजा हो, बंगाल सरकार जो है वो हमेशा इसका विरोध करती है, क्योंकि बंगाल सरकार हिंदुओं का विरोध करती है। बंगाल सरकार हिंदुओं के हर उस पूजा का, पाठ का, हर उस उत्सव का विरोध करती है। आपने कुंभ में देखा, आज इतना बड़ा महाकुंभ जहाँ देश विदेश से लोग आए, क्योंकि वो उनकी आस्था थी। वहाँ ममता बनर्जी कहती हैं कि मृत्यु कुंड था, तो उसी से उनकी जो इच्छाएं हैं, उनकी जो भावनाएं हैं, वो आप बेहतर समझ पाएंगे। तो लोग समझ गए हैं कि यहाँ की मुख्यमंत्री भले ही नाम बनर्जी रखती है, मगर काम सारे बेगम के करती है।
I want to bring in India Today's Suryagni Roy for more on this story, and Suryagni joins us live from Kolkata. Suryagni, what's the ground reality at Shantiniketan? Yes, it is a UNESCO heritage site, but what happened last year and the year before that and the year before that? Was Holi never celebrated? Was there actually a ban on celebrating Holi with colors at Shantiniketan? What's the ground reality?
Well, Gaurav, to understand what exactly Shantiniketan is, it is the university town where Rabindranath Tagore had started his world famous, Vishwabharati University.
Yes.
That area in the district, in the town of Bolpur is, called Shantiniketan. Now, this particular area where there's an ecological forest, there's an ecological, a forest around Shantiniketan where this entire controversy has taken place. What the minister, we spoke to her today morning, Birba Hasda, she's the forest minister, she has, categorically denied the allegations of the BJP. What she's claiming is that the message was simple. It was that it was not a ban, but it was a request, because many tourists come over there at that particular, the areas around that particular Shonajuri, which is next to an ecological forest. And that somewhere hampers the trees over there. So it was a request to the people over there who would come, who would play, because hundreds of people, they flock to Shantiniketan. It's some 4 hours away from the city of Kolkata, especially for something like like a Holi or a Diwali, where people get time to spend with their families. So it was a request by the local administration to the tourists that not to play over there, but there was no ban as such. This is the minister herself. However, as
people are being requested not to play Holi because it would hamper trees. That's the logic that's been given by the government in Bengal. That's point one. And point two, I want to understand, Shubhendu Adhikari says that people are being told finish Holi in Birbhum by 10 o'clock because Holi and Ramzan, Juma Namaz happens same day. So Hindus have to, in Bengal or in Birbhum, have to finish Holi by 10. Is there merit in what Shubhendu Adhikari says?
Well, see, this is an allegation by Shubhendu Adhikari. However, the police, on record, they have, posted and they have clarified on social media that there is no bar on, or any time restriction on playing Holi. So that claim by the BJP leader and especially the BJP, it has been completely refuted by the Birbhum police. Just a while back, the Birbhum police, they have put out a full-on post on Facebook and on Twitter stating that there is no time bar. People can play Holi as much as they want, and misinformation should not be spread. This controversy completely broke out since yesterday, Gaurav, and we have seen both the sides of this particular story, where on one end we have the BJP who are claiming that Mamata Banerjee tried to play to the minority community, tried to appease. However, it backtracked after getting pressure from the BJP and the media coverage. And on the other side, there is the Trinamool Congress government and the police who are very, very categorically telling that, there was no such ban or such time restrictions on playing Holi in the, in Bengal. Back to you.
Keep tracking that story. I will come back to you for more, and we'll be tracking developments on the story very, very closely. Holi, it's the festival of colors. It heralds the beginning of spring, the festival of colors that's being celebrated almost across the country. People coming together to celebrate with colors, with music, with traditional festivities, from temples to streets to shops to, watch these images from across the length and breadth of our country. Joyous gathering marked with the onset of the festival. Once again, what does this symbolize? Coming together. Watch these spectacular images from Mathura and Vrindavan, where devotees began their traditional Holi celebration. Let me also take you to the Aligarh Muslim University. Students celebrated the Festival of Colors. Of course, after a strict warning from the BJP MP, the Aligarh Muslim University administration did grant permission to play Holi for X number of hours today.
ये एक नई पहल है और ये होना भी चाहिए था, क्योंकि हमारा इंडिया एक सेक्युलर स्टेट है और स्पेशली होली के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में अगर हम देखें तो होली एक ऐसा त्यौहार है जो मतलब ब्रदरहुड एंड फ्रेटर्निटी को बढ़ाता है। तो ये कोई द्वेष वाला त्यौहार है नहीं, ये सबको आपस में मिलने का मौका देता है। तो हमें बड़ी फरवेट फीलिंग के साथ इसको एंजॉय करना चाहिए।
After a massive strike that had taken place in Balochistan, reports just coming in from Pakistan that multiple terrorists of the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan have launched a multi-pronged offensive against the Frontier Corps fort in Jandola in Pakistan. We are told that a suicide bomber blew himself up at the gate of the military garrison. This is the Frontier Corps Fort in Jandola. It's in the Tank district. And we are now being told that in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, heavy firing is being reported. The Taliban, the TTP or Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, have attacked the FC. It's a paramilitary outfit, the Frontier Constabulary of the Pakistan Army. The suicide bomber, and this is almost standard operating procedure of Pakistani terrorists. When there's a suicide attack, it's first a suicide bomber who hits the gate, the main garrison gate, and then multiple terrorists try to enter the garrison, and then they spread out and spread terror. Pakistani terrorists have tried this in the past. Well, now it's terror hitting them at home. Uzma Ahmad described Pakistan as Maut Ka Kuan, the well of death. And Indian diplomacy pulled an Indian national literally out of the jaws of death. We are going to talk about the story of Uzma Ahmad, a 28-year-old Indian national who was trapped in Buner in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. We will also talk about the effort of the Indian diplomacy to help an Indian national trapped abroad. I remember late Sushma Swaraj, then External Affairs Minister, saying that the Modi government's foreign policy was never leave one of your own behind. And with me to talk about the diplomat is superstar John Abraham. John, as always, welcome on India Today.
Very happy to be here with you.
It's great to have you back. But, you know, this superstar who's like really well built is one day a nuclear scientist, another day is a terrorist killing super cop, and now is a diplomat in the heart of hostile Pakistan. What made you choose the diplomat?
The story, Gaurav, the script. The script was lying on my table. No intention to do the film. Read it. And you know, usually when we read Hindi films, like I said, those scripts kafi vahiyat hote. You know, like sometimes you read it and it drops. For me, this didn't drop. I read it till the very end and it worked. And I called up the producer, the co-producer, and I said, I'd love to do this film.
Really?
Yeah, just the story was so intriguing and I read it till the last and I said, it's beautiful.
I've seen the film and for me, and I've covered Uzma Ahmad's case.
And I'm glad you've seen the film. I'm very glad you've seen the film.
And for someone like me who covered Uzma Ahmad's case, who knows JP Singh, India's then Deputy High Commissioner to Pakistan, who's reported on the tough situation between India and Pakistan.
Correct.
It was actually rewind to those days and seeing so many aspects that even I didn't know what was happening, except some private conversations, with diplomats at that point of time. This was literally pulling her out from the jaws of death.
Correct.
How did you, get it all together? A girl, an Indian Muslim woman, gets drawn to Pakistan and is taken to Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. So, how did it all come together for you to depict it, to put it together and to do it?
I think what I told Shivam first, my director, Shivam Nair, just like your director of the show, I told my director, we need to get the casting right.
Yeah.
You cannot cast anybody who is a name in this film. You have to the casting has to be perfect, which is why our first casting was Uzma. We got this girl called Sadia Khatib.
Yeah.
Brilliant job she's done in the film. She's worked hard, done a great job. And then we cast the other members of the embassy. And then we cast the guy who's playing Tahir and his friend Bashir, which was, if you see the casting, it's fantastic. Those boys are fantastic.
Yeah.
And the ISI head, played by Ashwat Raina, So I think the casting was most important. We went into workshops, and I'm cutting the long story short. I also did a lot of coaching. I had an acting coach.
In fact, I was just coming to that.
Yeah.
To play JP Singh cannot be, cannot be very easy because he has a very warm smile, but he has a very tough interior. I mean, we've met him when he was in the XP division in Delhi and then as Deputy High Commissioner in Pakistan and then Iran, Pakistan, Afghanistan desk. He's a tough guy.
Yeah, very tough, and he's always smiling on the face of it. But if you ask him a very pointed question, he'll search you. He'll search you and say, where's this? And he's very guarded when he has to be guarded.
Yes.
He will circumvent an answer when he wants to. So he's very sharp. So I spent a lot of time with JP to study his body language, to understand where he comes from, how he thinks. My director gave me a lot of input because he spent a lot of time with JP.
Right.
So, and then finally just doing your workshops. So I did my workshops and shot the film. Shooting was the easiest part.
Really? Because
Yeah.
it's so real.
Yeah.
It's so real in terms of... I mean, I've seen the movie and I can't give it away. I can't give away the plot, but I really want to talk about the fact that, I mean, there's a woman in a burqa. She comes to the Indian High Commission and says, "Let me in."
Yeah.
Oh my God. What a tough decision, whether you let her in or you don't let her in.
Yeah.
What are fears that a diplomat would go through? You were able to depict that with your actions. What are those fears?
The fear, I mean, again, without letting too much out, one of the fears was, I mean, she could have been anyone. She could have come in and bombed the embassy because it could have been anyone. When you're covered, you don't know whether you're strapped with bombs.
Yeah.
So I think the most difficult decision was to let her in. But then the call to let her in was also taken because there was a security check done on the outside.
Yeah.
So there was a sense of, shayad iske upar, she wouldn't be carrying anything on a person.
Yeah.
So after letting her in, checking her passport, making sure that... So we had to run through a lot of things. But the beauty during the shoot was, I was not allowed to meet Uzma's character.
Oh.
The girl who played Uzma Ahmad, I was not allowed to meet her. So I did not know anything about her before the shoot. The first shot in the film where you see me face her is the first time I saw her.
Really? Oh, that's where it looks so genuine.
So real. I'm searching, I'm looking at her and I'm wondering where she's come from, what she... And I didn't know what she was belting out, the lines she was saying. I had no idea. I had to react to the situation. So the first time when I see her, I've actually reacted to the situation. Matlab, पीछे का गेट देख लिया, अभी आगे का देख के जाओगी. You know,
and you know that is a fear in my mind, that she could be an ISI spy.
Anybody. She could be anybody. She could have any agenda and come in. So I had to really search her and look at her. And if I don't get my audience there, and if they don't forget John Abraham there, and if they look at JP Singh there, we have won the battle.
Yeah.
That was very important.
Yeah. And so fine. So you've got this woman inside the embassy.
Yeah.
She could be ISI. She could be planted there by the ISI. And yet you have to take a call that we have to protect her.
Correct.
That's the decision that JP Singh took. In a situation where he cannot get answers from his superiors, like a deputy high commissioner is not really senior.
Yeah.
I mean, usually a deputy high commissioner is a senior guy, and especially in Pakistan. But in this case, he was an officer with just about maybe 12 to 15 years service.
Correct. And there was no one present when he had to make that decision.
The high commissioner wasn't there.
Wasn't there.
Yeah.
So it was a tough decision, and it was amazing.
So if I remember correctly, Gautam Bambavle and the High Commissioner was in India for a mission meeting that was happening here.
Honestly, you know this, you know the film, you know the script better than I do. And it's fantastic that you're saying that. And I had to play that all at the back of my mind.
Yeah.
But Gaurav, what was more important, just like you, when you talk to me, when you do the show, you know what you're talking about. I needed to know the geopolitical history of whatever's happening in the world.
Yeah.
So even when I'm standing there and talking to someone, like I'm talking to you now, if I don't know my background, I wouldn't be able to have a conversation. And that had to show in my eyes to my audience.
With your interaction with Uzma and with your interaction with the Pakistani diplomats, there's one thing that I found very fascinating about your film. It's happening at a time when India-Pakistan relations are tense, and yet, you know, that time, 2017, LC was very hot.
Correct.
There were serious exchanges happening at the line of control. A lot of diplomacy was very tough. And yet, you've shown Pakistanis not as evil, but the good guys and the bad guys in this film.
Correct. And I think credit to my director, credit to my writer, Ritesh Shah. You know, because the brief that even I had given was, listen, to show yourself as better, you don't have to show someone else as bad.
This is our culture, actually.
Yeah, you shouldn't be doing that, which is a fact, right? So we showed the good and the bad side of Pakistan. Like there is a good and a bad side in India.
Yeah.
You don't need to really be jingoistic about it. And that's
which
why...
you're not in this film.
Correct.
Which is
the
amazing.
Judiciary system of Pakistan, that time I think the judge was Judge Niazi.
You're right. Judge, I think Kayani or Niazi.
Kayani was, Kayani was judge.
Yeah.
But we've shown the judiciary system as fair.
Yeah.
We've shown a lot of things on the face of it like they were.
Yeah.
So everything wasn't really bad there. And I think that's what you walk out with, that you really appreciate the honesty and the integrity with which we have shown this film and not to bow down to the commercial diktats कि यार ये film चलेगी अगर पाकिस्तान को थोड़ा तोड़ा हम लोगों ने. We've not done that.
But the fact is पाकिस्तान को तोड़ा था, but just the right way.
Correct.
Legally.
Correct.
Legally. और उसमें पाकिस्तान की लोगों ने they did the right thing. The judiciary did the right thing.
They are correct thing at that time. Noon Sayyid, who was a lawyer then, they're fantastic thing at that. So we've shown everything the way it was meant to be shown.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah.
And since we were reporting some of these things, though some in hindsight, some right then. So for example, there's a very, can I mention what I saw?
Please, just go freewheeling. I don't know why we are guarded. Just go.
There's one thing which I found really fascinating was when JP Singh, the character you play, brings in the husband, that assaulting husband into the High Commission.
That's one of the best scenes.
Oh my God. And then the wife goes and records the statement in court.
Yeah.
And then the Pakistani media comes right there.
Correct.
So, and that actually happened. I saw that on Pakistani news.
Wow.
It happened just, it's there. I mean, if people want to cross-check this fact, they can just, go on social media.
It's amazing.
And the fact is the husband comes out and says, wo Indians ne humko dhoka diya.
Yeah.
And, and that's how this film, on a scale of 100, not a scale of 10, how real is it and how much creative liberty has the director taken?
I think, honestly, I mean, if I have to really be honest with you, I think there's a 5%, 7% creative liberty that we've taken in this film, which is the wee bit of the shooting that happens in the end. The end. When we talk about creative liberties in our honest, real films, it's 70% creative liberty. This is only 3 or 4%, 5%. So we've been really honest to the film. There's been a lot of pressure on us. Gana dal do, ye karo, wo karo. Nothing. I said, listen, this film will not see the light of day if we corrupt this film. Which is why I'm speaking to someone who's knowledgeable about this rather than anybody. With no disrespect meant to anybody else, but you understand the space, so you understand the film. And that's what I want the youngsters to see, India to see. Okay, this is what makes India cool. We'll pull out, like you said, one of our own.
Absolutely.
Which is brilliant.
No, because I have seen this and I've reported this and I find this very fascinating. The manner in which Indians have been rescued from Ukraine. I was there in Ukraine when Indians were being rescued from there. Or they've been, recovered from other war-torn countries or strife-torn areas, even from Yemen or Afghanistan, when people have been recovered. It's extremely tough. Because we cover part of foreign policy or we are in touch with diplomats, so we know how tough they work.
And I love your job.
Thank you very much.
I love your job. I love your job. And you just showed me, but I remember watching this when you were running away from,
the shelling
in where was this exactly, in Israel?
So once in Ukraine, the other time in Israel. In Ashkelon, in the southern part of Israel. When they were bombing that place, when Hamas was bombing that place.
And this is what I want to educate people on, and Gaurav, this is what you do so well, is people think Israel and Palestine is India-Pakistan, one line. They don't understand the West Bank, they don't understand Gaza. It's so intriguing. When you see Fauda, you get you get goosebumps. There's one thing I was about to tell you. So one, there is I don't want to name another film on Pakistan which is, when you look at you, really well built, really smart. So you'd probably expect hand pump ukhade jayenge ek baar phir. While I love hand pump ukhadna also, I have nothing against it. But your film depicts the role of our diplomats so well. And if I may, the Afghanistan bit. That amazing. Not only gave me goosebumps, I had tears in my eyes watching that. I mean, we lost our defense attaché, we lost a senior diplomat, we've lost a security personnel in Afghanistan. And you knew them personally.
And you were able to depict that. You were able to depict that in this film without taking away from the main script.
I'm so happy you're saying that, because it's so important to know what we've gone through overseas, because we don't know. And I hope this film brings that to light.
Well, I think it really does. I mean, I've seen the film and I think it really brings to light the tough task of our diplomats. Is this the first time something like this has happened?
Absolutely.
I mean, you've interacted with JP, you've interacted with our diplomats. Their role hasn't really been highlighted.
Never.
They're like the silent workers in the background.
Absolutely. Gaurav, when I did Madras Cafe, it was the first time...
Fascinating movie again.
The first time a film like that had happened. When I told someone that I was doing a film called Parmanu, okay, and I remember the narration happening and someone walking out, they said, "Isse बुरी स्क्रिप्ट, बुरा आइडिया हमने लाइफ में सुना नहीं. And I smiled.
Really?
Yeah. So all my films that I have produced, my first film was Vicky Donor.
Yeah.
When I made Vicky Donor, they said, "Yaar, kya bana rahe ho, yaar?"
And what a film.
Yeah.
What a film.
And what a discovery in Ayushman.
Yeah.
You know, so I think the Diplomat is a first of its kind, and I'm so proud. And you know, films like this, when I really say commercial success doesn't matter, because the credibility that you walk away with this from a film like this is tenfold.
No, but I think India is changing. I mean, I sincerely wish you all the best, and I think it should do very well, you know, financially for you, so that such films are made even in future. Because one, the hard work Indians do abroad, like you know, that message at that Sushma Swaraj press conference. That press conference is. And we cover press conferences every week in the Ministry of External Affairs, perhaps every couple of months when the minister is also there. But with Sushma Swaraj, they're saying that I want every Indian to know, and she's thanking Uzma, I want every Indian to know that if you're trapped abroad, come to the embassy, you have family or you have friends, or words to that effect that she'd said, then. And it's so amazing.
Gaurav, I saw that in the film. I saw her press conference when we put it in the film. I'm not lying to you, and I'm not lying to you. I'm not pitching this. I had tears in my eyes. I missed her. And I said, where is she? I want her back. I want her back. I really, it was like a heartbreaking moment. And and I have no political inclinations. You know, I'm a guy who calls a spade a spade. The half Parsi in me is pretty capable of doing that. So I really felt like I wanted Sushma Swaraj back in the world today. And that's what is so special about this film. And Revati, special mention.
She's actually done it, You know, the way she's standing in the Ministry of External Affairs and talking to this girl in Pakistan. So when we interviewed, I think a colleague of mine had interviewed Uzma Ahmad when she came back. And she'd said that, कि वो सुषमा जी थी ना, वो मुझसे बात कर रही थी, तो मुझे लग रहा था मेरी माँ बात कर रही है, words to that effect, you know, she'd said then. So, and that you've been able to bring out. Because it was make or break whether we'll get this lady back from Pakistan or not.
Absolutely. So I mean, credit to the director, Shivam Nair. What a job. And we had to fight a lot of battles, including the studio. Because, you know, everybody comes from a good place. But, you know, you don't want songs, you don't want this, you don't want that. You want to keep the film pure.
Like there could have been a Dukh ka Gana in any Indian movie when she's trapped in Buner. But your depiction of Buner, I've never been to Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, but it's fascinating. I mean, it does appear as if you're there in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa.
And you feel claustrophobic when you see this girl hold up with these other women. It's like, man, what is happening? There is a world out there which is so scary for women.
That's another aspect I wanted to ask you. Through this film, you've actually been able to bring out the threat women face, that you meet these very sweet-looking men who may be very helpful. They could be drawing you into a trap. And a trap where some place like Khyber Pakhtunkhwa or that part of Pakistan could well be a human trafficking center. Or women could be trafficked. This is something that girls must know. That everybody who's helping you is not doing you good, maybe trapping you for something that's worse in store.
And Gaurav, did you notice in the film, they're so well versed, even the women, they're so well versed with checking the age of other women through their ankles and their ankles and holding their wrists.
Which means they're telling them
24 saal ki nahi hai, 28 saal ki hai. Just imagine. It is crazy. And I think this is the kind of, India needs to see more of these films. This is important for India. And I remember we took it to the censor board. There was not a single cut. And when our associate producer was walking out, our associate director was walking out, the censor board member said, I've got a 14-year-old son. I want him to see this film, and I think India should watch this film. And that is important. That is important. I'm not looking for, of course, we want commercial success. But, you know, when someone like you tells me you loved it and you know, it really was real, for me, that's the biggest reward. This is a reward for me. And I'm being honest. That's why I was excited that one person has seen the film, and great, we're doing an interview because you've seen it. So you know where I'm coming from. I don't have to hard sell this film.
No, you don't have to hard sell this film at all. You know, because look, I've seen the film. I know the context. I've met JP. I mean, I know JP. I know you and late Sushma ji. this is something that actually comes together. And I've seen our diplomats do this all the time. I mean, they've done that for an Uzma.
Correct.
They've done it for others. They've done it in other parts of the world. And sometimes Indians get trapped in all different parts of the world. In Ukraine, when we were trapped, they were very keen to rescue us. And we said, no, but, fools rush in where angels fear to tread. Oh, incidentally, angels is another line that comes, I don't know if it's there in the film or not.
Actually, we edited it from the film. Because there is a line where the driver asked me, saying, "Sir, ये इन्हें आज वापस चकमा देंगे, इन्हें क्या बुलाते हैं?" ऐसे बेटा इन्हें angels बुलाते हैं.
That's such a diplomatic term. So you're like really in.
Yeah. But for edit reasons, that we had to take out that part of the heartbreaking, but we've taken out some really good stuff from the film also.
You must put it back at least for the
Netflix version.
For the OTT version. Because I'll tell you why. Each time we interact with our diplomats in Pakistan when they're back or from in Pakistan, I mean, our diplomats have been beaten up in Pakistan. Including women who've been tailed and tailed very.
We actually used that in the film, यार, कि उनकी मर्जी. जब भी चाहे धो डालेंगे.
सही बात. Which is scary. For it's a violation of all Vienna conventions and Geneva conventions on how diplomats need to be treated. Our diplomats have been beaten up in Pakistan. In one instance, I remember one had to be flown into India on a special medical flight, was assaulted so bad.
Oh God.
It's that bad. And you've been able to depict that ISI on their motorcycle, it tracks them all the time.
It's a fact.
And all phones tapped, homes tapped. So Pakistan's a very tough posting for diplomats.
I've been to, like you, I've been to Afghanistan.
Yes.
I've spent 3 months. I went for Kabul Express. A film that I did years ago, but I spent time after that. And I stayed back in Afghanistan and I roamed around and I love the place. It's beautiful.
Afghanistan is beautiful.
And Afghanis are beautiful people.
They are.
Yeah. I look at an Afghani and I say, Man tamame Afghan aura dozdarum. Like we really love people. And my next film, again, it's not a plug because we are speaking about this space, is a film called Tehran.
Oh!
And it's a true incident about an attempt on an Israeli diplomat's life in 2013.
Yes,
outside,
in Delhi.
Correct. And when we did
next to Taj Mansingh, close to that area.
Yeah. And when we did the forensics, we found out it was not the Pakistanis.
Yeah.
It was the Iranians.
Yeah.
And the story about this guy who then goes there. So I learned Farsi for this film. I learned Hebrew.
Really?
So I've spoken Farsi, I've spoken Hebrew. And people said, yaar, ye Hindi film hai, aap aise. I said, listen, we're here to make cinema. And I want a film of mine to go across the world and people to see it and be proud of this.
Absolutely.
And so I've done it. Now people say it's a risk. I say, higher the risk, greater the profits.
Absolutely.
Karna chahiye aapko, yaar. Kyun nahi karoge aap? Have fun. Do the Pathans, do the Dhooms of the world. It's great, and I want to do more of those.
You
more
must.
Power.
You must.
I really love garam masala, for example. Do more of those.
Absolutely.
But balance it out by doing this as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because this is very important.
Yeah.
But what makes you choose, movies like Parmanu or Super Cop Batla House,
or Madras Cafe,
or Madras Cafe,
or Diplomat,
because or Diplomat now, because again, Batla House is one movie which is very close to my heart. I covered Batla House, and in this case, you think this will encourage others also to come into the space? What makes you choose them?
I find it difficult for studios to back me on this. So I don't know whether others will come into this space, but hopefully if this film does well, then others will be more empowered. So I hope my audience, my Godfather is my audience, I hope they back me. They watch this film. So we have other filmmakers who feel a little more empowered and want to do this. Like for example, I was discussing with you about Malakal.
Yeah.
I want to do a film in South Sudan.
Wow. And that's again a very fascinating story.
And that is action, so kids will love it.
Yeah. No, everyone must know about Malakal. Everyone must know how difficult is it for the Indian forces to. It's a United Nations. Can I?
Please. So you know the gentleman I am playing in the film, so please, you're the first one to talk about it.
So the way the Rajputana Rifles Regiment, the Indian Army was deployed there, the action they saw, and the valor of Indian soldiers. So tell me more about Malakal.
So Malakal is a story about the Indians who are a part of the UN peacekeeping force that went to South Sudan.
Yes.
So North Sudan is Muslim, South Sudan is Christian. And there you have two tribes called the Dinkas and the Nuers. And the battle between these two tribes. But anyway, to cut the long story short without giving gyan, how our soldiers go there to protect this one post. you know, against the rebels. So the best analogy that I could draw is 13-hour Secret Soldiers of Benghazi.
Yeah.
And that's exactly how our film's going to look.
Wow.
You know, the battle through the night, we lost a lot of our soldiers,
Yes,
and in
we
the
did.
morning we had some surviving soldiers. A lot of action, a lot of adrenaline, and a completely different terrain. But again, I'm so happy that you're an audience for this. I hope a studio backs it tomorrow.
I sincerely hope so too, because
man.
the valor of the Indian Army comes out very strong. But it's a great space you're in, and I'm so glad you know, you're doing films like The Diplomat, you know, which shows how Indian diplomacy is there for Indians anywhere in the world.
And we steered clear of action because you don't need to fight. Everybody said, "Are you going to land a punch?" And I said, "Nahi, yaar, this is not that film. Dialogues are his ammunition."
Which indeed they are. Except the last 10 minutes when there's like tak 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 tak
वो
happening.
थोड़ा हमने किया है वो उसके अंदर. But it's fun. We had a good time taking that. But that's honestly just a little bit, and we had I think Tahir and Bashir had more fun doing it.
I mean, so did you. I mean, I
loved it.
So it's a beautiful movie, and you must watch it. John, I wish you all the best for The Diplomat. It's a brilliant movie.
Thank you.
And you must go watch that film. It's all about Bharat ki Shakti, hamari diplomacy ki Shakti, even in a hostile country like Pakistan, where you have some good people also.
Absolutely.
Thanks, John.
Thank you, Gaurav.
Cheers,
Such
mate.
a pleasure.